Well, and what do we got here today? The FBI blacks out New York City during raid on Clinton Foundation. Now it looks as though Trump is finally making his long-awaited move on the Clintons. FBI Critical Incident Response Group uses electromagnetic pulse weapons for the Commandos cover during high-profile raid. The blackout. The Democratic Party child sex empire is crumbling. A bombshell from the new Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, SVR, the report circulating in the Kremlin today states that a massive power blackout striking New York City a few hours ago, which was left the famous Broadway Road in Manhattan without power, was, in fact, caused by a covert operation conducted by the elite FBI commandos belonging to the Critical Incident Response Group, CIRG. They were exploring tunnels located under a building at 1633 Broadway, a building that houses the offices of the Clinton Foundation, three of whose top child sex predator Democratic Party megadonors, Jeffrey Epstein, Terry Bean, and Ed Buck, who constitute what is now being called the Democratic Donors, the Sex Creep Group, and also being targeted for destruction by President Donald Trump. Now, according to this report, at 0200 Moscow time, which is GMT +3, on the 14th of July 2019, the Russian Foreign Intelligence received an alert bulletin from the Ministry of Defense, reporting that their launch this past week, Cosmos 2537 satellite, had detected an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, emanating from New York City, occurring at 1847, which is 6:47 GMT, their local time on the 13th of July. An analysis which showed this EMP pulse being generated by a CHAMP device, an acronym for the United States Air Force Counter Electronics High-Powered Microwave Advanced Missile Project, that can fire multiple times, pinpointing and blacking out only essential targets which the FBI highly trained commandos belong to their Critical Incident Response Group that are trained to use. To why the FBI's elite Critical Incident Response Group commandos would need to employ an EMP weapon in downtown New York City, this report explains, is due to their having to protect themselves against an array of electronic defense weapons protecting the offices of the Clinton Foundation, the main contractors of whom renovated the stuff like nightmares, multi-million-dollar New York City townhouse owned by child sex slave trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, as well as their constructing Epstein's Island compound in the Caribbean and near his impregnable New Mexico fortress that is now the largest building in that state. As to why Epstein needed security systems comparable only to those used by nation states to protect their country's most secret, closely guarded, this report notes the SVR in 2016, children, one of the most explosive being former Bill Clinton raping a 13-year-old girl, and the tapes used by Epstein in this vast blackmail scheme, best exampled in the quantum theory. An analysis of his finances, a theory confirmed yesterday by some of America's top financial experts who stated, giving this puzzling set of data points, the hedge fund managers we spoke to leaned toward the theory that Epstein was running a blackmail scheme under the cover of a hedge fund. Though President Trump's takedown of a child sex trafficker and blackmailer Jeffrey Epstein is shining new light on his criminal accomplices, such as British socialite heiress Ghislaine Maxwell, who has been accused of procuring and training young girls to perform massage and sexual acts on Epstein and his elite guests, and whose assassinated father, Robert Maxwell, was an Israeli super spy. Thus, report continues, not being reported to the American people is that he is but one of the many top Democratic Party mega donors facing child sex crime charges, the most important of whom include Terry Bean, prominent American gay rights activist, whose personal friends include Hillary, former Bill Clinton, and former President Barack Obama, to just name a few of his top Democratic Party leaders. Friends who shockingly disappeared of the child sex crime charges against him like they did for Epstein, but whose days are numbered as, again like Epstein, these criminal charges against him are being renewed. Ed Buck, another prominent American gay rights activist, whose personal friends include Hillary Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, and former President Barack Obama, to just name a few of his top Democratic Party leaders, friends who is accused of human trafficking and revenge porn after another young black man plied with drugs died in his home, and whose current civil charges against him will, without doubt, soon be followed by criminal ones. Laura Silsby, who tried to abduct 33 children from Haiti for Hillary Clinton. As Hillary Clinton-led Democratic Party checks her sex empire crumbles, this report concludes, critical to note are the powerful Democratic Party-aligned lawyers aiding these vile child sex criminals, such as Jorge Puelo Torres, who gained freedom for another child abductor, Laura Silsby, but was then arrested and charged for child sex trafficking himself. Laura Devaney, who is still facing a rift of state and U.S. federal criminal charges, and, most importantly, Harvard University professor Alan Dershowitz, who, when gaining freedom for child sex slave trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, beyond shockingly gave a television interview where he called these young children prostitutes, while admitting at the same time he did receive massages from them, but he left his underwear on. So, as this keeps getting better all the time, it does look like some things are happening in the real world of taking down the Clintons. As usual, I pray for people to quit watching CNN, pray for our president and keep his safety going, and I thank all of you for coming, and